The soul of Java. The cultural richness kept maintained, bearing unpretentious souls, creating young intellectuals who are ready for the world. Here, born Muhammadiyah Association, a progressive Islamic organization, engages in various fields of life. One of them is education. By the idea of Professor Dr. Kahar Muzakir on the 1st of March 1981, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta presents to enrich young intellectuals' competence, actualizing Muslim scholars who are noble, competent, confident, able to develop science and technology, useful for the nation and world developments.
Accounting Department Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta is a leading accounting department in Indonesia. This department has got A accreditation since 2005, when only a few accounting departments can get this accreditation status. There are many achievements that students have received. Winner in a number of capital market competition, winner in scientific competition, and recently winner of National Enterprise Resource Planning 2018 competition. That 5 students of this department will represent Indonesia to compete in Singapore. Therefore, this department has produced competitive alumni that they can compete in job market while maintaining Islamic values. I believe by joining Accounting UMA, you have made a very good decision to be a successful person in this world and the hereafter, inshallah.
Accounting Department of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta was established in 1992. Our mission is to produce Bachelor of Accounting who master in science and technology, have a good characters, integrity, and global insight. To support the graduate competence, we provide extra services such as training and certification, like Islamic banking training, taxation training, internal audit training, external audit training, and most management training. Meanwhile, we also provide certification such as Enterprise Resource Planning from Monsoon SIM and Associate Certified Public Accountant from Indonesian Institute of Public Accounting. To face the business changes in the era of Industry 4.0, the curriculum of Accounting Department focuses on ability to utilize information technology and ability to take strategic decisions. We expect that Accounting Department can keep contribution in producing human resources who are excellent, Islamic, and have a global insight.
Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta has set up a new tagline of Young and Global. In order to speed up this mission, the Department of Accounting proposed to establish International Program of Accounting Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. This program is expected to be the driving force for continuous improvement in providing better services and facilities in education system at the Accounting Department. The increasing needs of graduates with good qualification and international recognition drive the Accounting Department to focus on developing main competencies of technology information, international financial reporting standards, public sector, and Islamic accounting. Under the professional management towards the world-class quality with a vision to become a global-oriented accounting department by focusing on strengthening faith and piety to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, mastering science and technology of accounting, and being the center of excellence which is beneficial for people. With the missions of being actively involved in the nation's development process, enlightenment of people through 3 pillars of higher education, and creating young, noble, and global accountants. Since 2005, Accounting Department Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta has been accredited A. The establishment of academic atmosphere and the development of competitive character are improved continuously. As a result, the public trust to the accounting department is even higher, which could be seen from the large number of applicants. Learning in the accounting department of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta is supported with good quality of supporting facilities, such as library, where students can access the relevant and appropriate references, such as e-journal and e-book. Administration room, where students get administrative services, and Wi-Fi area, laboratory for practicum, in Kiai Haji Ahmad Dahlan Mosque. Accounting departments also directly supervises Accounting Students Association, which can serve as a facility for students to develop soft skills in the field of organization and self-development. Besides supported by qualified facilities, academic atmosphere is also established by the certified lecturers academically and practically, who are actively involved in academic and professional activities nationally or internationally, as an effort to renew the accounting science ode. The learning process also refers to the competency-based curriculum, referring to Indonesian National Qualification Framework, through learning method approaches of centered learning, discussion, presentation, and problem solving. Accounting department also tries to create prospective accountants who are professional, responsive, confident, creative, trusted, and innovative on each graduate student of Accounting Department of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Various efforts carried out by Accounting Department, such as providing supporting facilities and establishing cooperation with domestic and foreign agencies, are parts of the process to create a conducive academic atmosphere and increase the achievement of academic community of Accounting Department of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Being with realization that intelligence and people's well-being are the shared responsibilities. Thus, providing the best for the next generation is one responsibility that should be implemented to become excellent and Islamic in the world of accounting nationally and internationally. Accounting Department of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, excellent and Islamic.
Yogyakarta. Jiwa dari Pulau Jawa. Kekayaan budaya yang terus terjaga melahirkan jiwa-jiwa bersahaja, menciptakan para intelektual muda yang siap mendunia. Di sini terlahir Persyarikatan Muhammadiyah, organisasi Islam progresif yang bergerak di berbagai bidang kehidupan, salah satunya pendidikan. Atas gagasan Profesor Dr. Kahar Muzakir pada tanggal 1 Maret 1981, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta hadir memperkaya kemampuan para intelektual muda, mewujudkan sarjana muslim berakhlak mulia, cakap, percaya diri, mampu mengembangkan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi yang berguna bagi umat bangsa dan perkembangan dunia.
Program studi akuntansi Fakultas Ekonomi UNY itu didirikan tahun 1993. Waktu itu didirikan dengan dua latar belakang minimal. Yang pertama adalah kebutuhan pasar, bahwa sektor industri Indonesia waktu itu masih terjadi kekurangan tenaga ahli akuntansi, akuntan. Kemudian yang kedua, secara sumber daya kita cukup memadai.
bawah pengelolaan yang profesional menuju world class quality dengan mengusung visi menjadi program studi akuntansi yang berorientasi global dengan bertumpu pada penguatan iman dan takwa kepada Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, penguasaan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi akuntansi, serta menjadi pusat keunggulan yang bermanfaat bagi umat manusia. Dengan misi berperan aktif dalam proses pembangunan bangsa, pencerahan umat melalui Tridharma perguruan tinggi, dan menghasilkan Young and Global Accountant berakhlak mulia. Sejak tahun 2005, program studi akuntansi Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta telah terakreditasi A. Penciptaan atmosfer akademis dan pembentukan karakter kompetitif terus ditingkatkan, sehingga kepercayaan masyarakat terhadap program studi akuntansi Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta semakin tinggi, terlihat dari banyaknya jumlah peminat yang mendaftar. Pembelajaran di program studi akuntansi Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta didukung dengan fasilitas penunjang yang baik seperti sarana perpustakaan, tempat mahasiswa dapat mengakses referensi yang relevan dan memadai, seperti e-jurnal dan e-book. Ruang tata usaha tempat para mahasiswa mendapatkan pelayanan administrasi perkuliahan, serta Wi-Fi area, lab praktikum, dan Masjid Kyai Haji Ahmad Dahlan. Program studi akuntansi juga menaungi langsung himpunan mahasiswa akuntansi yang mampu menjadi wadah bagi mahasiswa untuk mengembangkan soft skill di bidang organisasi serta pengembangan diri. Selain didukung oleh fasilitas yang mumpuni, atmosfer akademis juga dibangun melalui tenaga pengajar yang telah tersertifikasi secara akademis maupun praktis, yang terlibat aktif dalam kegiatan akademis dan profesi berskala nasional maupun internasional sebagai upaya pembaharuan ilmu akuntansi yang dimiliki. Proses pembelajaran juga mengacu pada kurikulum berbasis kompetensi yang merujuk pada KKNI atau Kerangka Kualifikasi Nasional Indonesia melalui pendekatan metode pembelajaran student-centered learning, discussion, presentation, dan problem solving. Program studi akuntansi selalu berupaya mewujudkan terciptanya akuntan prospektif, yaitu profesional, responsif, personal confident, kreatif, trust, dan inovatif pada setiap mahasiswa lulusan program studi akuntansi Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta.
Selama saya kuliah 3,5 tahun di Prodi Akuntansi UMY, itu banyak hal yang bisa saya pelajari. Akuntansi manajemen, akuntansi keuangan, itu saya gunakan untuk mengatur biaya, mengatur laporan keuangan, dan yang paling penting adalah kita bisa mengetahui posisi bisnis kita.
Apa yang saya dapatkan ketika kuliah di Prodi Akuntansi memberikan bekal yang cukup untuk saya menjalankan pekerjaan, juga merintis usaha sampai dengan sukses menuju persaingan global dengan tanpa mengesampingkan faktor dari ridho ilahi. Terima kasih.
Berbagai upaya yang dilakukan program studi akuntansi Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta melalui pemberian fasilitas penunjang hingga menjalin kerjasama dengan instansi dalam negeri maupun luar negeri merupakan proses penciptaan atmosfer akademis yang kondusif, serta peningkatan prestasi bagi civitas akademis program studi akuntansi Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Diawali dengan kesadaran bahwa kecerdasan dan kesejahteraan umat adalah tanggung jawab bersama, sehingga memberikan yang terbaik dalam membentuk generasi penerus bangsa adalah satu tanggung jawab yang patut ditempuh untuk menjadi yang unggul dan islami dalam dunia akuntansi nasional maupun internasional. Program studi akuntansi Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, unggul dan islami.
Assalamualaikum. Hi there. I am Dr. Hussam, lecturer.
Assalamualaikum, Bu Arum, Pak Rizal. Happy to meet you even by virtual meeting.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Because our speaker, Mr. Rizal, is already here, can I start now?
Yes.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's general lecture. In this general lecture, we have Associate Professor Dr. Mohd Rizal Palil as our speaker today. If everyone is ready to start, I will open this session. Before start, I remind you to open your camera and unmute your audio. The Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Mohd Rizal Palil as a speaker for today's event, Dr. Anda Arum Indrasari, MBus AKCA as a moderator for today's event, and the Honorable Accounting Lecturer and the participant who attended today's general lecture. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain amma ba'du. First of all, let us praise to the Almighty God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His blessing, we are able to attend this general lecture with the topic Tax and Accounting, the Equilibrium Dilemma, Research Trend in Taxation. As a speaker, Professor Dr. Mohd Rizal Palil, organized by International Program of Accounting. Secondly, may salawat and salam always be present to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness to the lightness as we hold today. Let me introduce myself. My name is Tiara Larasati, as the Master of Ceremony. Here, I would like to show you about the agenda we have arranged today. The first agenda is opening. The second is general lecture session. The third is Q&A session. And then photo session. And the last is closing. Okay, let's start this event by reciting basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The next agenda is general lecture session with the topic Tax and Accounting, the Equilibrium Dilemma, Research Trend in Taxation. This event will be guided by our moderator, Ms. Arum. She is an accounting department lecturer of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. She teaches intermediate accounting, which subject related with today's topic. For Ms. Arum, time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for the time, Tiara. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Mr. Rizal Palil, to our general lecture in this afternoon.
Yes.
And good afternoon as well for my students who join this program. I would like, first I would like to introduce myself to Mohd Rizal bin Palil. I'm Arum. I've been visiting UKM many times before COVID-19.
Yes.
And yeah, then I'm a close friend with Prof. Nuradifa Ahmad. Yeah, I have joined research together last year and this year as well.
Mm.
And we actually we are not we're very close to UKM actually. Yeah, every year we always visit there, but since COVID-19, it's like we can't go anywhere. So that's we meet from the Zoom meeting. Okay, thank you, Associate Professor Muhammad Rizal bin Palil, for your time to give us the new about research in tax accounting. Yeah, because maybe some of my students here will have the idea about what the next research for tax and accounting. Okay, before I give the time for the speakers, I would like to read the curriculum vitae of Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Rizal bin Palil. Okay, if you see in the screen that Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Rizal bin Palil is have a undergraduate in UKM, yeah, Bachelor of Accounting, and then have a master's degree in UKM as well, yeah, Master of Accounting, and then fly far from Malaysia to get PhD degree into Birmingham, yeah, United Kingdom. Okay, and now the position of Professor Dr. Muhammad Rizal bin Palil is as a Deputy Executive of Director in Strategic Data and Pro Vice Chancellor Office in Strategic and Corporate Development. And this the address is in the UKM 43600 Bangi, Selangor, Malaysia. Okay, and in the Center of Government Resilience and Accountability Studies in Faculty of Economic and Management, UKM in Selangor, Malaysia as well. And there's a telephone on the office and has an email if some of you maybe later want to contact him for us about the topic, yeah, about the research accounting and tax topic. Okay, next. Now this is in the personal part, information about Associate Professor Muhammad Dr. Rizal bin Palil. He was born at 6th of October 1976 in Klang, Selangor as well, yeah, so not far from UKM.
Yes.
Okay, and married with 4 children. Okay, and of course, the nationality is Malaysia, yeah, and the postal address here is the office, yeah, Center for Governance, Resilience, and Accountability Studies, Faculty of Economic and Management, UKM. Okay, the current position, yeah, is Associate Professor. We're waiting for your Professor, Dr. Next soon, yeah, be a professor.
Inshallah.
Okay. Yeah, amin. Okay, then this is the academic qualifications. Like I mentioned before, that I have a bachelor and master in UKM, and then have a PhD degree in University of Birmingham, United Kingdom. And until 2016 and until now, still as associate professor. Yeah, let's hope have be a professor soon. Okay, I think that's it for the curriculum vitae for Associate Professor Dr. Rizal. I think that's we are now start to have a new information on absorb about the new accounting and tax research, yeah, for doing the research. Okay, I think that's I give the time for you for Tiara, how long we are going to have this speak until
1 hour, Miss.
1 hour. Okay.
Yes.
The time for 1 hour, Dr. Rizal. Okay, I think that's for me now. The time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Ibu Arum. And also thank you very much to all committee members, organizing committee, as well as thank you very much again to Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Yeah, I think I went there around 2017 or 2018. Yeah, I went to Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. I think with the same program, it was what we call as accounting week, something like that, from the accounting student. Yeah.
Oh yeah, accounting week. Yeah.
Accounting week. Yeah.
Okay.
So I involved in that program for 2 or 3 days, and I did enjoy my stay in Jogja. And of course, Jogja istimewa ya Bu?
Yes.
Yes. I heard a song called Jogja Istimewa, and I keep on repeating the song until today. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the program. So I would like to share about my experience and my interest in doing research. Yeah. In doing research, especially in taxation and accounting, because I believe that the presentation today might be useful to final year student in S1 program, so that they can do their skripsi, ya Bu? Yeah, or in Malaysia we call it as project paper or thesis, something like that. But it is quite useful, or you can use this guidance, yeah, in order to have these ideas for those who are looking for the suitable ideas in doing your research or in doing your skripsi. I think after hearing my presentation, at least you got some ideas in pursuing your research, right? So my topic of presentation today is about tax and accounting, the equilibrium dilemma, or more focusing in research trends in taxations, right? So of course, as we all know that we are now in facing big challenge, yeah, in what we call as struggling to go out from COVID-19. So of course, in my presentation, there is a room in doing research in COVID-19. Okay, next please. So the introductions of my presentation is related to, right, so the research in tax become more interesting and important during COVID-19 in particular. This is the best time to highlight that tax is an important instrument in developing an economy. And also we can prove that we can contribute during the crisis. And of course, other discipline in social science also important in combating COVID-19 situations. So what can we learn from these particular situations, right? Okay, as we all know that outside there, so many journals, so many conferences, yeah, focusing more on COVID-19, right? And of course, even though we are now struggling, yeah, in facing the COVID-19, but bear in our mind that I think we can consider that our generation today is quite lucky because we face this COVID-19, yeah, even though most of our friends and relatives died due to COVID-19, yeah, and of course many of businesses has been shut down, right? And not only that, we also heard that our family members, our neighbors, our relatives have been terminated from their workplace, and they are struggling to survive from daily basis. Yeah. But from a positive point of view, I believe that we are facing a unique situations that we never imagine or we never experience. For example, total lockdown, and of course now we are interacting using online platform, whereby we never imagined that a conference can be organized like this. Previously we cannot accept this kind of situation, this kind of online meeting, because people would say that if there is a meeting, if there is a conference, there must be physically exist in there. So now what we call as new normal, throughout the world. So from tax perspective, from accounting perspective, this is the time for us to prove that the accounting is an important discipline, an important discipline in order to combat this COVID-19, right? And not only from accounting perspective, we also attempting to match between the accounting dilemma and the tax dilemma, right? As we all know that the corporate taxes in Malaysia, for example, is derived from the accounting, right? Is derived from the financial statement. And therefore, in which way that accounting will match tax, right? Or can we say that taxation is not important rather than accounting? So this kind of dilemma exists. Many people would say that taxation is not an accounting. For example, in Australia, taxation is under law school. They are not under the accounting school, or they are not under the business school. So there are a lot of what we call as school of thought. Where should be the accounting and where should be the taxations, and which is the best part in drawing the line between the accounting and taxations, right? Okay, next please. Okay. All right, I think I prefer not to use the background because my computer is not so good. Okay, so before we further proceed to plan what are the best research that we are going to do, so let's have some overlook on the current economic situations. I think the situations here is not only happen in Malaysia and Indonesia. I think it also happened throughout the world. So in reality, ladies and gentlemen, because of less household consumptions, the first one, the top one, less household consumptions, due to the lower demand, interrupted supply chains when COVID-19 happened since March 2020 in Malaysia. In Malaysia, our total lockdown happened on 18th of March, 18th of March 2020. And starting that point, businesses were shut down. And of course, demands are very, very slim. People who have money will not spend their money because they're afraid what will be happen in the next year, what will be happen in the next 2 years. So they are trying to keep the money in so that they can survive within the next 2 or 3 years. So due to this, people are very selective. People are very selective in doing purchases. And of course, this may reduce the tax revenue. In Malaysian context or in Indonesian context, perhaps. And in the derivation of less household consumptions, it will cause poverty. The poverty rate will be increased. People previously have a stable income monthly. Now they don't have enough income, to pay their overhead for businesses, to pay their rental for businesses. or for household, they are not able to pay their higher purchase payment for their cars, for their houses, and so forth. Yeah. So indirectly, when poverty strike in because of the economic situation right now, the tax revenue also will be decreased. Okay. And the third point is many enterprises close, right? I think Ibu Arum in Indonesia also facing the same problem, right? So many small and medium enterprises are heavily affected, okay, during COVID-19, and most of the workforce would not be longer needed in that particular businesses, and therefore they have to find another job, okay? And people who are doing their business, they have to sustain with a very challenging situations. For example, increase in their overhead, okay? The rental would be increased, the cost of imports are also increased, and more unfortunate, okay, the currency exchange between Malaysia, for example, with USD also affected. Yeah. So in total, from our tax perspective analysis, yeah, we can say that the direct tax collection, the corporate tax collection, as well as the individual tax collection for Malaysian context will be decreased. Yeah. And if the tax revenue decreases, okay, what are the next impact to the country, right? So of course, there are not enough money to redistribute to the nations, okay? So these are the question mark need to be resolved by the government, okay? Next, please. Okay, so after knowing the situation of our economy, yeah, after observing what happened outside there, okay, in Malaysia, for example, I can share with you, starting from in the middle of last year, okay, many people are affected, okay, especially in airline industries, in transportation, buses, express buses, and so forth. They are losing their job. So they have to survive, okay? So what did they do? They have to open stall, okay, nearby, okay, along the roads, they are open stall. I think in Indonesia, we call it as, is it called it as toko, Bu? Stall near the roadside?
Yeah, toko. Or
warung,
yeah,
warung, yeah. Okay, there in Indonesia we call it as warung. Here in Malaysia we also call it as warung. Okay, so we can observe easily. Okay, when we drive, okay, outside our home, and we can see that a lot of people are having warung, okay, nearby. Okay, and more sadly, for your informations, in the red traffic light, yeah, in Malaysia, in the red traffic light, a lot of people selling goods, okay, to the motorists who are waiting for red traffic light turn into green. Yeah, so this is a sign of downtrend economy, right? And judging from that, so what are the area of concern? Yeah, what are the area of concern in tax? So you can have a research focusing on corporate tax. Yeah, for example, in Malaysia right now, Ibu, we have 24% corporate tax rate. Yeah. How about in Indonesia? How many percent for corporate tax in Indonesia?
I think that still the same with our income tax, progressive. Yeah, we use progressive tax rate.
Even though for corporate tax rate, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. In Malaysia, we have flat tax rate, okay, only 24%. Okay, so during these situations, yeah, during this COVID-19, shall we maintain 24% in Malaysia context, or from Indonesian context, shall we turn from progressive into flat tax rate, or shall we reduce the tax rate? Okay, so these are the things that you can have a research in. Yeah, you can simulate. Okay, for example, if the corporate tax rate increase 1%, we can simulate how much the increment in terms of tax revenue when the government increase 1% in corporate tax rate. Okay, or on the other hand, if the government reduce 1% in corporate tax rate, is there any decrement or increment in tax collections? Okay, so this approach might be more mathematical, or you can use econometric approaches. Yeah. And then secondly, you can also proceed to individual tax. Okay, does the threshold, for example, in Malaysia, the threshold is 34,000 a year. If your income is more than 34,000 ringgit a year, then you are obliged to register as taxpayer. Okay, if your income is less than 34,000 a year, you are not obliged to become a registered taxpayer in Malaysian context. Okay, so you may proceed with, for example, like this. Does 34,000 is the optimum number? Okay, or the government should reduce from 34 to 30, or from 34 to 25,000 a year, so that our tax net become bigger. And when the tax net become bigger, of course, we can have another extra income from the newcomers in the tax net, right? So this is an example how you can proceed with individual taxations in terms of doing your research, right? Or probably you can combine both. Okay, you can have a research in corporate tax and individual tax. Okay, and for your information, ladies and gentlemen, our tax collection in Malaysia, okay, total tax collections, 65% or 70% coming from corporate tax, okay, corporate tax payment, okay. So the remaining would be coming from individual and other taxes, yeah. So this is for what we call as direct tax, right? So these two can be a good area of research, okay. And then still under the individual tax, you may proceed with, for example, okay, in Malaysia, we have 21 relief, yeah, maximum 21 relief provided by the government, okay. Should we maintain with 21, or should we reduce, or should we increase more than 21 during this COVID-19, right? And then another area of concerns is you may proceed with how Islamic tax system or how zakat, yeah, can contribute or can complement with the current conventional tax system, yeah. And in this particular research, you are not being able to change the rate of zakat because the rate is constantly at 2.5%, yeah. But you may proceed with, do we expect that during these situations or during this COVID-19 situation, the number of poor people increase more than the number of zakat payer? Yeah, so you can have this kind of simulations. If the number of poor people increase, whereby on the other hand, the number of zakat payer decrease, so this is not a good sign in terms of Islamic tax system or in terms of zakat. Why? Because the needy increase, whereby the sources of income for zakat become decrease because many people are affected during this COVID-19. Yeah. And then the fourth area of concern, yeah, you may proceed is value-added tax. Yeah, it is a type of consumption tax. Yeah, in Indonesia, it is about 10%, right? Okay, 10% VAT. Okay, value-added tax. Okay, should we reduce from 10 into 9? Or should we reduce from 10 into 8 during these COVID-19 situations? Or should we increase from 10 to 11? Or from 10 to 12, right? So when you wish to change, increase or decrease in terms of tax rate in value-added tax, again, you can simulate, you can estimate what are the tax foregone that will suffered by the government, or what are the tax increment that will enjoy by the government due to the change of value-added tax rate, right? Or you may proceed with the scope of VAT, right? You may widening the scope or reducing the scope. On the other hand, maintaining the rate at 10 so that you can have, you can still enjoy the increase in value added tax. Okay, so this is the thing that you may proceed with. And then in tax relief perspective, okay, you may focus tax relief in corporate basis, or you may focus your tax relief in individual basis. Yeah, both are allowed in doing this particular research. Okay, even though from Malaysian context, yeah, I will share with you, even though we are expecting that the tax revenue would decrease, yeah, however, the Malaysian government still providing special relief, yeah, still providing special relief to companies and individual. Okay, right? This is the time for the government to help the nations. Okay, even though they are realizing that the tax collection would be slightly decreased because of number of workforce become smaller, and of course number of companies that shut down and become bigger. So this is the issues that you can focus in terms of tax relief. Okay, and the last one but not least is extension of the date of filing. Yeah, so in Malaysia, for example, for individual, we have to submit our tax return by 30th of April, but the government has extended into 30th of May. Okay, same goes to the corporate companies. They are extended from 30th of June to 31st of July. Okay, so what are the impact to the government? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what are the impact of extending this kind of submissions? Okay, and of course, government would receive the money from taxpayer late, okay, compared with the previous one. Okay, so 1 month delay may affect, okay, the number or the amount of money collected by the tax authority. Okay, so this is the thing, or in area of research, okay, that need to be taken into account, or you can focus more on these particular issues, right? So these are the things that you can focus in. Okay, but bear in your mind that in doing a research, you don't have to have a big research. Okay, it is sufficient for you to have small research, but the impact to the government or the impact or the contribution of the research is significant. All right, next please. Okay, apart from the issues that have been discussed previously, we can go into the fundamental issues. Yeah, fundamental issues in tax. Right. For example, okay, you may doing a research from the basis, okay, from the book written by Adam Smith, yeah, in 1776. Okay, the book's title is The Wealth of Nation. Okay, all right. Even though this research is quite suitable for S3 or S2, because theoretical research, fundamental issues are normally researched by S3 student and S2. However, S1 student can still attempt these particular issues, but not attempting all principle of taxations, right? So what did Adam Smith say? Okay, Adam Smith claimed that a tax system must be equity and fairness, must be efficient, must be convenient, and must be certain. Okay, these four fundamental issues, or these four theoretical or principle of taxations. Okay, all right. So the question is, because of Adam Smith says this four in 1776, yeah, 300 years ago. Okay, nearly 300 years ago. So now we can do a research. For example, do these four still relevant right now? Okay. So when doing a research like this, you can have inductive approach or deductive approach. Okay. For example, equity and fairness. What does it mean? Okay. a tax system must be equitable to all and fair to all. Okay, so the connotation or the definition of fair and equity is quite subjective. Okay, how equity it is, how fair it is. Okay, so we can still argue in terms of that particular point in your research. Okay, for the poor, maybe $10 is a big amount of money. All right, for the rich, $10 may be a small amount of money. Okay, that $10 is a big amount in this case? No, we cannot simply say like that. Okay, because the equity among the rich and the poor is what we call as arguable in this case, right? And then secondly, Adam Smith says that a tax system, yeah, in any countries must be efficient. Okay, efficient here means that the amount of collected, the amount of tax collected must be more than cost of collecting the tax. Okay, for example, if you wish to collect $1 of is only 20 or 30 cents or probably 40 cents, something like that. Okay, that is called an efficient tax system. All right. On the other hand, if the cost of collecting $1 tax is, for example, 90 cents, and therefore it is not called as an efficient tax system. Why? Because the amount of collection is somewhat higher than the cost of collecting the tax. Okay, right. And then the third one, we move to the convenience. Okay, so what does convenience means, right? Convenience in terms of taxation means the taxpayer easy to pay the tax. Yeah, the calculation of tax is simple. They are not involving very complex mathematical formulas. Yeah, and then in terms of responsibility of taxpayer, not only for individual but also a company, they have to retain the document. Okay, and the document only not required to retain your document for 15 years or 20 years, something like that, right? So a tax system must be convenient, not only to the taxpayer, but also to the tax administrator. Okay. The fourth one would be certainty. Okay. A tax system must be very certain in many ways. Okay. For example, who are going to pay the tax? Okay. What income subject to tax? Okay. When should we pay the tax? Okay. How much should we pay the tax? Okay. Everything must be certain in any ways. Okay. If you are unable to pay during the stipulated time, what are the penalty that will be imposed, okay, by the tax authority? Okay. So all these things must be certain in the cycle of tax. All right. So Adam Smith says that these four fundamental issues must be available in any tax system. Okay. So we as a researcher, we may challenge, right? We may challenge the Adam Smith theory. Okay. We may, okay, proceed with the impact of social media, for example, in tax compliance, for example. Okay. Because we can say that the convenience there somehow related to the social media. Okay. So this Adam Smith argument, right, ladies and gentlemen, would be, are they still relevant right now? Okay. After nearly 300 years, are they still relevant right now? Or maybe we can have another variable, okay, in adding this for variable claimed by Mr. Adam Smith. Yeah. So these are the fundamental issues in research, okay, that you may proceed, okay, in terms of this particular issues. Okay, next please. Okay, now the next issues is, okay, can I have 1 second to have a drink? Right. So another issue is, if you wish to have a research right now, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you may proceed with environmental related issues or green taxes, yeah. You may have green tax, environmental tax, carbon taxes, petroleum tax that are similar, okay. But the main issues here is you may impose extra tax, yeah, to companies or to any individual who are damaging our environment. Okay, this has been implemented in Europe, in Finland, in Norway, yeah, in Japan, in Singapore, but not in Malaysia, and I believe also, but not implemented yet in Indonesia, right? Okay, so the thing is, okay, people may say that, okay, you are damaging the environment, and therefore you have to pay the damage cost. How much you have to pay the damage cost? Through this environment tax. All right. Okay. So another point of view says that, all right, I have paid the environment tax to the government. Now I can do more damage in your environment, which is no good for the whole country, right? Okay. So this is another issue need to be pondered, right? In terms of, shall we tax them, or is it appropriate we tax them extra on top of their normal corporate tax, right? For example, I give you an example: construction companies. Yeah, construction companies normally they have to pay tax in Malaysia 24%, right? For every project they develop, of course they will did damage to the environment. Okay, to erect any buildings in any site, they have to clear up the land, they have to clear up the forest and so forth, and definitely they did damages to the environment. And on top of 24% corporate tax rate, and yet they have to pay another, for example, 5% from their income because of damaging their environment. And does this considered as equity and fair in relation to Adam Smith argument in my previous slide? Yeah, so these are the issue, interrelation between this environment tax and the Adam Smith argument previously. Okay, so we may impose extra tax, for example, for vehicles more than 10 years. Okay, why? Because vehicles more than 10 years are less efficient in terms of their engine, and the smoke that came out from the engine is not healthy, for example, and therefore cars with more than 10 years should pay extra tax because they did damage to the environment. Okay, so these are the issues. Okay, you may research in. All right. Okay, so from the government, they might be having a very good experience. Why? Because they can have extra income in terms of imposing this environment tax. But from the taxpayer, it is not really good, right? For example, if you are taxing, right, vehicles more than 10 years, okay, normally people with vehicle more than 10 years are the poor, right? They are not afford to buy new cars. Therefore, they are using the same cars for more than 10 years. And yet the government may impose tax to this particular group of people, which is really unfair. Okay, the rich people, they are not using the same car for more than 10 years. They might be selling the car during the 8 or 9 years of usage, and therefore they are safe from being taxed in terms of environment related issues. And this kind of situation need to be researched, yeah, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to take money from the right hand, you may be willing to lose something from your left hand. Okay, so these are the dilemma. Okay, the dilemma faced by the government, either willing to impose this kind of tax or not, right? But principally, But principally, these environmental tax should be imposed. Why? Because they did damage to environment clearly, and therefore they have to pay. Why? For the next generations. Okay, for the next generation to enjoy the same environment, to enjoy the same what we call as less emission in their environment. Okay, so you may proceed with these environment related issues. For example, green taxes, carbon taxes, and of course petroleum taxes. Right? Next, please. Okay, another point of view, you may proceed with a research related to behavioral dimension. Okay, the behavior of the people, the behavior of the company. For example, you may proceed with tax compliance. Okay, you may proceed to measure the level of voluntary in terms of individual and corporate taxpayer. Okay, you may also proceed to tax compliance in terms of forced compliance. Okay, do they will pay the tax, right, using this particular force strategies and so forth. Okay, so when we have compliance issues or compliance research class, you may have or you may refer model, okay, introduced by Australian Tax Office. You may refer model introduced by OECD countries. Okay, you may refer to United States, okay, model of taxations, right? So these are the things that you need to relate when you are doing the behavioral dimension of research, right? And then you may also proceed with tax audit, tax investigation, tax morale, yeah, in terms of predicting taxpayers' behavior, okay? For example, in Indonesia, we have self-assessment system long time ago. Okay, so do as Malaysia, we also have self-assessment system long time ago. Okay, do tax audit still relevant after 20 years of self-assessment system? Okay, or do we still need to add more audit cases? Yeah, even though we have what we call a self-assessment system. Okay, bear in our mind that the absolute self-assessment system must not require high number of tax audit. Okay, otherwise it will not call a self-assessment system if you have higher number of tax audit. Okay, so people may ask, if that is the case in self-assessment system, what is the optimum number of tax audit cases? Yeah, so this is the job of us as an academic, as a researcher, to provide the data to the government, for example. Okay. And then we go further, rather than tax audit, we go further into the tax investigation. Okay, do we need tax investigation rather than tax audit? Right? Of course, the answer is yes, because tax investigation is very important. Yeah, in terms of any tax system, because outside there, so many people enjoying income without paying tax. Okay, and then tax morale. Okay. What are the impact of tax morale? Okay, tax morale is defined as how people react from your intrinsic intention, okay, from your inner side of your body towards the tax payment. Okay, so this is what we call as tax morale. Okay, next please. Okay, and then, okay, the other dimension of doing a research either in accounting or in tax is what we call as statistical research. Yeah. All right. So the prior requirement to do this statistical research is you must be good in statistics. Okay. You must be good in econometric, for example. And of course, you must be good in doing tools of analysis, for example, partial least squares, okay, structured equation modeling, multiple regression, SPSS, and so forth. You must be good in there, okay, before you wish to proceed in statistical research. Okay, so what are the research you may proceed with statistical research? The first one is you may comparing data. Yeah, For example, tax collection before and after COVID-19. Okay, all right. And then you may proceed with this particular objective of research intra-country. Okay, you may comparing 2020 with 2021, or you may comparing 2020 with 2019 within the same country. Okay, or you may compare inter-countries. Okay, for example, you may compare how many percent Malaysian tax decrement after the COVID-19 compared with how many percent tax decrement in Indonesia. Okay, so you may comparing Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and Singapore. Okay, and for example, the study found that Malaysia is the largest percentage in terms of tax forgone after the COVID-19, right? So why the other countries are not suffering decrement in terms of their tax, even though during the COVID-19? This is for example only, all right? So inter-countries may be more useful, okay, in terms of comparing the tax strategies, yeah, during the COVID-19, okay? The OECD has released a report summarizing tax incentive, tax strategies provided by many countries in the world in order to stimulate their domestic economy. Yeah, in order to stimulate the domestic economy, they have a special strategy for each country. Okay. Apart from intra-country and inter-countries research, you may focus to intercontinental. This is a big study. I think this require a lot of data. Okay, you may comparing between continental. Okay, for example, you are comparing Asian data with European data. Okay, these are the things that need to be researched into for your statistical research, right? Okay, next please. And of course, okay, in doing a research, it is good if you are testing, yeah, testing theories. Okay, even the objective of having theory is to support your study. Yeah, is the study related to theory, or your finding will provide a new theory? Okay, but I think for S1 and S2 research, you are not providing a new theory, but normally you are supporting, you are deducting, or you are adding, okay, some more points to the theories that use in your study. Okay, so in accounting and tax research, what are the theories normally used? Okay, the first one would be theory of planned behavior or theory of reason action. Okay, and then the equity theory, equilibrium theory, optimal tax theory, and of course so many more theories outside there that may be useful in doing your research. Okay, next please. So briefly, theory of planned behavior is a theory estimating people behavior, yeah, estimating people behavior in terms of their action. Okay, this theory says that people intentions are determined by three main dimensions, which is attitude, subjective norm, and perceived behavioral control. And your intention will be manifest by your action, okay, or manifest by your behavior. Okay, so normally in tax study, we use this theory in terms of predicting why do they pay tax, why do they pay tax less, and why do they pay tax more than it's supposed to be. Okay, so of course you can explore this theory. Next please. Okay, so these are the dimension or what we call as the diagram of theory of planned behavior: intention, determined by 3. And of course, intention will be determine your behavior. Okay, next please. Equity theory, this is an economic theory. Okay, I'm not very good in equity theory. I never use this theory in my research. Okay, next please. Okay, next. Okay, so this is equilibrium theory or game theory. Okay, introduced or what we call as found by Professor John Nash. Okay, so it is more mathematical, and if I'm not mistaken, this theory normally used during the war. Okay, in your war strategy, that's why it is called game theory or Nash equilibrium theory. Okay, next please. Okay, optimal tax theory also related. Okay, this is also economic theory. What are the most optimal tax in a country? Okay, what are the rates? Yeah, what are the deduction, the relief need to be offered? Okay, in a country. Okay, next please. Next. Okay, all right. So this is another issues. Yeah. So we can research into, for example, estimating tax foregone or estimating tax gap. Okay, so estimating tax foregone for every incentive of tax provided in a country. For example, as I said earlier, decrease 1% in corporate tax, how much government will lose? Okay, how much government will lose? Okay, or delaying tax collection, for example, 3 months, how much government will lose in terms of interest rates from fixed deposit foregone? Okay, so these are the things that students or researcher can go into. Okay, but bear in our mind that estimating tax gap or tax foregone is not an easy research. Okay, because you have to have many assumptions. Okay, you have to have many assumptions. You have to have what we call as in economics ceteris paribus. Okay, so you have to assuming that other variable are not variate among themselves. Okay, okay, next please. And this is my advice or my tips, yeah, to any researcher. Okay, so you can have any research that you want to go into, but you have to ask yourself, okay, the first one is, are you doing a research for getting a certificate, for example, for getting a PhD, or are you doing a research for getting a master degree? Okay, if the answer is yes, and therefore you must have a simpler research in terms of obtaining the data, and make sure your research will be finished within 3 years if PhD, or for master maybe within 1.5 years. Okay, and make sure your research have vast previous literature. All right, this is research for PhD, for master. Okay, you don't have to dream big, yeah, in terms of doing your research for PhD or master. It is sufficient to provide a further contribution to the existing contribution or to the existing research. Okay, get your PhD first, get your master first before you go or before you proceed into the more complex research. Okay, the second dimension of doing research is research for fun. Why I put fun here is you are doing a research not to obtain a degree. Okay, for example, as soon as you finish your PhD, so you proceed with a research with a certain amount of research grant or research fund. Okay, and therefore you at this stage you can have a complicated research, you can have a new research, you can have a totally new research. Yeah, I mean in social science, yeah, not in pure science. I mean in social science. Okay, you can have an exploratory research. Okay, even though very limited literature review, yes, you can proceed. Why? Because your research is not having time frame, is not having is not involving awarding degree, PhD or master. Okay, so I think for S1 student, your research become the first part, right? Research for getting your degree. Okay, so when you willing or when you wish to have a research in getting your degree, and therefore your research must be doable. Your data must be available. Okay, and your analysis must be valid. Right? So be careful. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Why these two matters? Because the outcome will determine your certifications. Either you get your degree or you are not getting your degree. Okay, next please. So what can we conclude from my presentations? Okay, right. The first one is, okay, current trends in text areas. Yeah. So you can have economic approaches. Okay, as I said earlier. Okay, and then you can have behavioral studies. Okay, you study the behavior of people towards text. Okay, and then another point of view is you can have effective text rate. Okay, during these particular pandemic situations, effective text rates, okay, might be lower than previous. Okay, or you can have Islamic perspective or other religion perspective. Okay, depending on what are your religion. Okay, you can compare the national tax system with your religion tax system or Islamic tax system, right? Or you can proceed to green taxes, okay, environment tax. Okay, in order to preserve your environment, you have to pay tax, right? So these are the thing, or these are the area you can proceed or you can research into. Okay, but remember, determine what type of research are you willing to go in, either to get your PhD or master or S1, or you do a research not to getting any certification, right? Okay, next. All right. So I think with that, okay, I may conclude my presentation. Okay, so certain points, yeah, need to be remembered of my presentation is whatever research that you are doing, make sure the process or the ideas, okay, coming from your own heart. Okay, you must be ikhlas. You must be saying that your research is an ibadah, so that the finding, okay, of the research can be used by other students, can be used by other people. Okay, by having this kind of feeling, based on my experience and my friend experience, process will become easier and easier. All right, with that, thank you very much for your time to listening my knowledge sharing session. I pass these sessions to Ibu Arum. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Pak Rizal Palil. Yeah. We call Pak, yeah, because you are maybe already in Indonesia, and you know that we call Pak from Mr. Yeah. Okay, it's really thing, yeah, hearing about this general lecture about the research, because before we always think hard about the research, yeah. It's like stressful, and then like we have to try to find the topic. It's really hard to find the topic actually from the research. But after hearing this just 1 hour session, I hope that many students here, and maybe for myself, like have a new idea, yeah, about the new research. Have a new idea of the accounting and tax as well. There's many perspectives we can see from this research. Yeah. Okay. And then the next session is about the Q&A session. Is there some of you have any questions? Hello. or maybe I have a question for you, Pak Rizal. Because even in our undergrad thesis, yeah, when we call thesis in Indonesia, because I think that's the only thesis that doing in undergraduate degree is just in Indonesia. I think, yeah, but they have to write the thesis. I think for me, it's difficult to think about that. They have to try to do the research, and some of the research is they have to find the novelty of the research. Yeah. They always ask, what's the novelty of your research? Something like that. They always ask like that about to the students when they try to give the topic to the supervisor. Yeah. Okay. My question here is what kind of novelty that we can do for the new research? Yeah. So that the people don't think that our research is not just plagiat or not just replicate for the research before.
Okay.
What do you think?
Thank you, Ibu Arum. Yes, I agree with you that normal questions, would be asked when you are presenting your proposal of doing a research is, what is your novelty? Okay, I would say that if you are in S1, or S2 student, right? Novelty can be defined as any additional dimensions or any additional variable, okay, comparing to the previous study, okay, is considered as novelty. Yeah. So for example, okay, you previous study testing 3 variable, and your study testing 4 variable, which is 3 from previous studies and 1 is new variable, okay, contributed by you as a researcher. So this extra 1 variable is also called as novelty, right? But if you are a professor, this extra 1 variable is not called as novelty because your level as a professor is high. Okay, so the connotation of novelty is related to which ranking are you. Okay, if you are doing a PhD research, for example, you just add 1 more variable from the current or existing variable in your study, then it is not called as your novelty in your PhD research. Okay, so this is the connotation of novelty is different depending on your level of research thinking, right? So that's why I said when a professor asking you as one student, what is your novelty? They are expecting that your novelty at his level as a professor. So it is unfair actually for me, okay? Because you are half of their age, for example, and you are first time having this research, and your novelty is sufficient if you are adding 1 variable, okay, compared to him as a professor, it's not sufficient if he doing a research with extra 1 variable. Okay, this is one aspect of novelty. Okay, another one is we can say you have a research novelty if you are using different background of sample or using different background of data. Okay, data provider is different from the previous study. So this is your novelty of your research, right? Okay, the third one is you may having your research with the new method of analysis. Okay, so this new method of analysis is considered as your novelty of your research, even though you are using the same variable, the same data, the same respondent, but you are processing the data, you are analyzing the data using the different method or new method. right? So this is my opinion about the meaning of novelty. Yeah, thank you, Ibu.
Okay, it's more clear now, with the explanation about the novelty. When maybe some of you doing the proposal right now, and then the supervisor asks you about the novelty, maybe you can ask or say that you already like add one of the variable, or change the sample or something like that. Okay, is there any question from the audience? Guys, you can ask in Indonesia.
Yes.
Yeah. Pak Rizal can bahasa Indonesia as well.
Yeah,
it's same with Malay. Any question, guys? No? Okay, no. No one here doing the research in Texas. I think that some of you writing the thesis right now. Okay, Irma, what kind of topic do you have? Irma, nulis apa proposal atau skripsinya kemarin?
Yes, ma'am. The topiknya pengaruh dimensi keadilan dan norma subjektif terhadap kepatuhan wajib pajak UMKM.
Oh, see about pajak.
Okay, yes, good.
Can you tell us about your skripsi a bit, Irma Yandi?
Apa ya? Lagi ngolah datanya sih, ma'am. Belum kelihatan hasilnya karena baru input datanya kemarin hasil
kuesioner ya, nyebar kuesioner.
Kuesioner, oke.
Kuesioner.
Berapa respondennya?
60.
60.
Is it about the number of respondents? Is it there's any minimum for the thesis of using the primary data, Pak Rizal?
Okay, actually the number of sample or the number of respondent is depending on the number of populations. Yeah.
Okay.
If your population is only 100, then 60 is more than enough become your sample.
Oh, okay.
Right? Okay. So the first thing is before you determine either your sample is representative enough, you must determine the number of number of population first. Yeah, and then of course you can use books written by Umar Sekaran or written by Hare et al. They have a table, okay, showing that if this is the population, how much your sample. If this is the population, how much is your sample? Okay, so please refer to that paper as well.
Okay. You calculate your sample as the percentage of the population as well, Emma? You know how much for your population?
What, ma'am? Can you repeat again?
How much for the population? Your population. Respondennya siapa?
SMI, UMKM.
Oh, UMKM. Okay.
Yeah.
Di Jogja.
In Pekanbaru City, sir. Riau.
Oh, di Pekanbaru. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good luck for your thesis. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, any students here doing thesis in text or maybe in others? Or you can maybe ask about your thesis. Okay, no one. Dintan, tulis apa, Din? I see Dinta here. Halo Dinta, Dinta. Okay. No question? You finish all? Okay. Master of Ceremony, can I close this general lecture?
Yes, sure, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. It's very refreshing, yeah. We all listening about today's topics about accounting research, and there's many idea, yeah. You can like later you can think again about what kind of research that you are going to do, and the main point is here is research should be for fun, yeah. Not be stressful. Okay, I think thank you, Pak Rizal, Palil, for your time for our university. I hope that we can still continue our this meeting again for maybe the next for the graduate research or another agenda, and and healthy during COVID-19 and until the COVID gone. Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Okay, thank you. Can I leave the session? Yeah.
We need to for the take a picture first.
Okay.
Yeah. Tiara. Yeah, back to Tiara.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you to Professor Rizal for the attractive material. Hopefully, we can have a better understanding on tax and accounting, the equilibrium dilemma, research trend in taxation topic. And thank you to Ms. Arum as a moderator who guide discussion today more clearly. Now, it is turning to the last agenda, which is closing. As a master of ceremony, I do apologize for any mistake during this event. Finally, I say thank you. But before leaving this event, kindly please everyone turning on your camera because we want to take a picture. Okay, first, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, once more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you, Miss. Thank you, Mr. Rizal. Okay, thank you for joining this lecture and see you on the next event. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks, Pak Rizal.
Okay,
you may leave now, ya. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, Pak.
Okay.
Ibu, terima kasih Ibu.
Oke, Pak.
Ini ada Miss Fitri tapi di sana, Bu.
Oh, katanya sibuk.
Ya, habis rapat tadi, Bu.
Oke, bubar ya. Makasih ya. Udah asar ya.
Makasih, Bu.
Oke, makasih Tiara. Thanks ya, Irma. Tadi nggak ada yang nanya, besok lagi di set supaya ada yang nanya.
Oke.
Yuk, assalamualaikum, Ibu Liviana. Irfa sehat ya, Pak. Semua sehat.
Terima kasih, Bu.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.